When we remember a time, we remember moments. A kaleidoscope of the sights, the sounds, the emotions that remind us of the way we were. Our world. It's about time. Tonight, Gone with the Wind, the making of a classic. Here are Linda Ellerbee and Ray Gandolf.
For the next hour, think of your television set as a time machine.
And think of our attic as an atelier where David O. Selznick created his Mona Lisa.
Welcome to Our World. Tonight's edition is different. To begin with, we begin with the end. The night, December 15th, 1939. The place, Atlanta, Georgia. The event, a world premiere of a movie. The story, how that movie got made. One story that allows us to tell many others. After all, a movie is a machine for seeing more than meets the eye. Or so they say. The movie, Gone with the Wind. But to see the picture better, first put it in its frame.
The war in Europe became official in the fall of 1939, but except for the dismembering of Poland and its division between the Nazis and the Soviets, the war was more expectation than event. In this country, we watched the gathering storm and worried about it, but concerned ourselves more with a 3-year expectation which was about to become an event, the transformation of one of the biggest, best-selling books of all time into an even bigger movie.
A dream remembered, a civilization gone with the wind. The nerve it took to rewrite the book's beginning was the same nerve it took for an independent studio to try to make this movie. The nerve belonged to David O. Selznick. Marcella Radwin was, at the time, Selznick's assistant.
Selznick's ambition was to make as great a picture as it was humanly possible to make. And in my opinion, of course, he did.
Maybe, maybe not. Ever is a long time. But he did make a war movie to make you forget the war, which, according to Mary Anderson, Maybelle Merriweather in the film, was what we wanted.
We had just come out of a severe, severe depression, and everything with Hitler was starting in Germany, and the people were looking for a fairyland, a wonderful, wonderful dream to come true.
But if dreams come true, then so do nightmares. On September 1st, Hitler invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France went to war against Hitler. World War II had begun.
Wir fliegen zu Weichsel und Warte, wir fliegen ins polnische Land. Wir treffen das Schwert, das feindliche Heer, wir blitzen und wohnen und Rand. Kampfland, Kampfland, die Lohn ist bekannt. Rast an den Bein, rast an den Bein,
Hitler stepped on Poland, crushing it under the German heel as if it were of no consequence, and sure of Russia's support, made ready to enter a conquered Warsaw. Poland cried out for help, but there was no answer. On September 17th, the Soviets invaded Poland too. By the 1st of November, Germany and the Soviet Union sliced Poland into 2 pieces. One for Germany, one for the Soviet Union, none for Poland. Americans rushed back to the home of the brave and neutral, or so President Roosevelt said it was.
Let no man or woman, thoughtlessly or falsely, talk of sending American armies to European fields. I hope the United States will keep out of this war. I believe that it will. And I give you assurance and reassurance that every effort of your government will be directed toward that end.
FDR's Tightrope Act, described by his son, James.
We had a Neutrality Act which kept the country from doing anything that would indicate we wanted one side or the other to win. On the other hand, Father obviously wanted public opinion to back the Allies in order that eventually we would be prepared to take sides. And therefore he made it clear that in his view, we could emotionally and mentally be for one side winning.
Yes, we were neutral, officially, but it was clear to Roosevelt and others that Britain and France would need help to beat the German war machine, our help, which we sold after the neutrality law was changed on November 4th, allowing our friends to buy our tools of war if they paid cash and then carried home their new weapons on their own ships. Meanwhile, Britain, the naval legend, tried to blockade Germany, but Germany settled in, comfortable behind what it called the Siegfried Line, a name meant to reassure the German people the way the name Maginot Line reassured the French people. Concrete bunkers, underground railways. What could go wrong? What German force could pass the Maginot? When the British sent an expeditionary force to France, the soldiers behaved more like athletes off to a sporting match. More fight song than fight.
We're gonna hang out the washing on the Siegfried Line. Have you any dirty washing, mother dear? We're gonna hang out the washing on the Siegfried Line, 'cause the washing day is here. Whether the weather may be wet or fine, we'll just rub along without a care. We're going to hang out the washing on the Siegfried Line, if that Siegfried line's still there.
The last 4 months of 1939 in Western Europe was the time of the Sitzkrieg, the phony war. While Poland was being raped and while the Soviets attacked Finland, the French and Germans and British just eyed each other and sat. At sea, it was different. The Germans sank 2 British warships, merchant vessels, and the passenger ship Athenia. Among the 118 people killed on the Athenia were 28 Americans.
I saw the boat rise to the surface and fire a shell and hit the boat after the torpedo struck the boat.
In Britain that fall, searchlights were ominous. In Hollywood, they meant party time. The premiere of The Little Princess, the new Shirley Temple movie, brought out the stars in galaxies. Tyrone Power was there, and Norma Shearer. In 1939, 483 feature films were produced in Hollywood, and there were lots of diamonds amongst the paste.
Hooray for Hollywood! And Hollywood, and Hollywood!
They hire cowboys and they hang their chaps up and all their maps up and give them all that they lack. Now ain't it funny? They pay them money. Shows what you can do if your horse can act. Hooray for Hollywood! It's really got me. Hooray! 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 Hooray for Hollywood!
But the most spectacular movie premiere ever did not happen in Hollywood. On December 15th, the stars fell on Atlanta. Olivia de Havilland and Vivien Leigh, the female stars of Gone with the Wind, escorted by producer David Selznick. And of course, the king, Clark Gable.
No wonder!
Atlanta went bananas. More than 100,000 people turned out for the premiere. Georgia's governor proclaimed it a state holiday. Even Rhett Butler smiled. Evelyn Keyes, who played Scarlett O'Hara's younger sister, was raised in Atlanta.
When Gone with the Wind came to town, there were parades. There were bands on every corner. It was just the biggest thing that ever happened.
Story editor Kay Brown, who had to beg Selznick to make the movie, was vindicated.
The flags were flying and the bands were playing. You couldn't miss that hit. The whole city just took a holiday. They just went wild.
Miss Vivien Leigh! Clark Gable!